Once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Um, I really appreciate your dedication for sitting today at 8 a.m. in the morning. I mean, this is the usual time that I get up, so it has been difficult for me also. Uh, Fine, let us start the session then. I would like to introduce myself first of all. So basically, until 7th standard, I have done my schooling at a central CBSE board, and then I joined residential schooling in the state board from 8th standard, and in 10th standard in my state board, I secured 10 out of 10 CGPA, and then 11th and 12th, I prepared parallelly for my board examination as well as for JEE main and advanced also. So through JEE advanced rank in 2017, I joined IIT Kharagpur in the Department of Electronics and Electrical Communication Engineering in the year 2017. So, and then after 4 years, I graduated in 2021. The campus life was good. I really miss it now. So, but time cannot come back. So, we have to accept that fact. And I belong to Vijayawada from Andhra Pradesh. So, and my father is a mechanical engineering professor at NRI Institute of Technology, Vijayawada. My mother is a housemaker, and I also have an younger brother, just like some of you might also have. He is currently pursuing his masters at IIT Madras in Civil Engineering Department. So, that is about my family. After graduating, I also got campus placement in Sterlite Technologies. So it was in 2021. So I never got to visit the office which was located in Gurgaon. It was work from home basically. I worked there for 2 months, and then I got selected in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Bengaluru. So I joined HAL in 2021 October as a design engineer electronics. And then so after that, okay, in the meanwhile I also got selected in NTPC, Airport Authority of India, etc. And simultaneously what happened was I have given my engineering services first time in 2021. That was my very first attempt, which means right after graduating from my college. So I was not completely aware of the structure, syllabus, or the pattern of the questions, everything. It is all afresh, except for the fundamentals, basic concepts which I have studied in my engineering days. This pattern of examination was completely different from GATE. So I have also given my GATE examination. Let me tell you that also. So in GATE 2021, I secured All India rank 115. And also reappeared again in GATE 2022, where I secured 114 rank again. Not much of a difference. So it's almost a steady performance, you can say. So that was one part. And let me come back to engineering services. 2021 was my first attempt. So what happened was I just gave my prelims, and it was affected by COVID. So prelims, which was supposed to be conducted in January or February, was conducted in July that year. So maybe I can say thanks to COVID, I got some more time to prepare myself, because it would have been difficult for me when I was in final year to prepare parallelly along with my academics. So that little bit of time gave me some leverage to study the advanced topics which are not covered in my GATE syllabus. So thankfully I was through prelims, and also I've already joined HAL when I was giving my mains, and fortunately enough I even cleared my mains. And then came the interview phase, where you never know where you stand after the mains result. the marks will not be out, and everyone is on an equals platform. So, but unfortunately, I could not make it into the finalist in my first attempt. Uh, and then in engineering services 2022, I reappeared. What I can say, it was like it has become uh, it has become a matter of concern for me that how could I not clear my engineering services. I've taken it as a matter of pride, in fact. So I reappeared in 2022 while I was working parallelly in HAL. So what happened this time is I did not start my concepts afresh. So I already had the basics, fundamentals. I already had an experience in all the three stages, right from prelims to the interview. So that experience also helped me because the interview experience usually gives you the whole atmosphere or the typical questions that will be asked, etc. This would be helpful. And also, you will get more used to the pattern, the typical questions that will be asked every year, etc. Can use marker. Okay. Let me discuss the structure of engineering services first. I probably know that everyone must be knowing. I'll tell you why I'm doing this again. So it has three stages. In the stage one is called the prelims, which consists of again two papers. So the first paper is the general studies and engineering aptitude. The paper two is the domain specific paper, which is ENT here. So 200 marks, 300 marks, 2 hour time, 3 hour. So, then mains. Paper 1, both are technical. To 300 marks, and then the personality test, which consists 200 marks. So the total sum of 1300. I am telling you this because this picture must be engraved in our mind. This should always be in the back of our mind. Whenever we try to analyze questions or analyze something, previous year questions, etc., this should always be in the back of our mind, which helps us know which topics should be more focused on or which subject has the most weightage, etc. For that matter, general studies constitutes only of 200 marks. I'm not telling you to leave this completely, but scoring more than 100 marks in this is really difficult task. So my personal opinion is anywhere between 80 to 100 is a good enough score in the first general studies paper. So these kind of analysis can be done. This should always be in the back of our mind because the technical paper almost consists of 900 marks, and then even the personality test, technical questions will be asked. So general studies, let me tell you. So this has again 10 different subjects in the general studies paper. So I hope everyone is from the electronics domain. So great. So here what I did was there were subjects like engineering drawing, project management, which are completely new to people like us. But there are also some subjects, especially information communication technologies (ICT), as well as material science, where some portion of our semiconductors is overlapped. So these were my strengths. along with engineering aptitude and engineering mathematics. So these, I mean, I'm more comfortable with the numericals, and I'm also strong with my mathematics. So these were my strengths. Some 4 or 5 subjects I kept as my strengths, and I did not leave the remaining portion, like for that matter, ethics or project management. Drawing was completely, it went over my head. So I never took a chance with that. So, and then there are subjects like environment also. Uh, I just gave a brief look into these kind of things, because you can never expect the kind of questions that will be asked in these subjects. So there were also issues, current issues of national importance and all. So you can never say like which question will be asked in this particular year. So you should always be on your toes, which keeps on changing day by day, dynamic. So I took my chance there, and I'm expecting somewhere around 80 marks or so this time. Let me tell you what happened in engineering services 2023 this time. Um, I mean, I heard a lot of people saying that the numericals from engineering mathematics or aptitude were lengthy. Uh, has anyone appeared for engineering services 2023? Yeah, great. Maybe you could relate it. There were questions, definitely, which took a lot of time to calculate from mathematics, and there were long stories, paragraphs given in aptitude section. But what I did was, you don't have enough time. It's only for 2 hours, and you need to complete the whole paper. Uh, so what I did was, a long story was given in engineering aptitude section, and I did not have the patience to read the whole story. And I just went through the last question, what was being asked exactly. Then I traced back to where can I find those points, and then it is an objective paper, so I could eliminate it accordingly. I could check which person or which place that is being mentioned, and I crossed out the remaining options. I eliminated. I used this elimination technique also, and then I arrived at the right answer. And thankfully, most of them were right. There were almost many questions from engineering aptitude which had long paragraphs. Similarly, in engineering mathematics also, there were lengthy questions. Uh, and what I say for lengthy questions is, what I used to do was, I used to round figure. I used to use concept called rounding off. So uh, I used to round off so that I can achieve some possible range the answer might be in. Since it's an objective paper, I took the chance, because I did not be pinpoint on the answer. So that's how uh, f- uh, I used to do my calculations. The engineering mathematics section, and it also had more weightage this time. Almost around 30 marks were asked in the engineering mathematics and aptitude section. So that was one thing, and then remaining questions really went over my head, of engineering, drawing, or current issues. Everything I did not have a chance. So I spent more time on my engineering mathematics section. Let me also tell you the marks that I secured. Still 2023 marks have not been declared. So I wanted to tell one thing from this. Now, the major difference, if you can also observe, was in my mains. And this mattered, this costed my selection. So, had I secured more marks in mains in 2021 itself, I would have been through. Though my prelims marks were even on a higher side compared to 2022 examination. Okay, I forgot to say. So, and I secured 19th rank in my 2022 examination, and I'm currently working in Central Electricity Authority, CPES Group A cadre. So this is a major difference. I scored very less, which is almost just clearing the cutoff of mains. So I did not have a chance after my interview. So, and then moving on to the technical portion, we have two different papers in mains especially, but the syllabus remains same for prelims, mains, or even the personality test technical questions. So, and the fundamentals I had was from my engineering days at IIT Kharagpur, and then what I used to have was, there were some strengths and weak areas everyone has, and I even ask you to introspect yourself. Like, you should be knowing the best about yourself, and so you should know what your strengths are and what are the areas you are weak in. And I say because it differs from person to person, and no one else except for you knows what you know the best. And the suggestion is, you just have to hone your strengths and work on the weak areas to improve it. So mostly everyone must be more comfortable in networks or signals and systems. And I was also comfortable in control systems. Uh, digital electronics as well. Oh, sorry, analog. I'm not a big fan of analog. Yeah, like I said, it varies from individual to individual. Well, I did not want to mention communication systems also. And you should know that which subjects fall in the category of paper 1 and paper 2. This should always be in the mind, like what 6 subjects are there in your paper 1 and which other 6 subjects are there in your paper 2, because that helps you analyze at which topic or which subject you should be focusing more on. And also so networks and digital electronics, these all come in paper 1 and they have more weightage also. And coming to the day of the examination of mains, the most important point I would like to mention is the right choice of questions is necessary. You have 8 questions, out of which you need to choose 5. Of course, though 2 questions are compulsory in it, which that is made just because you don't leave out any subject as such. But I did take a chance in that also, and that was, can anyone guess which subject did I take a chance on? No, it is one different subject as such in out of the 6 in paper 1. Exactly, it is basic electrical engineering. Took a chance both in 2021 and 2022. I took a chance from basic electrical because, and my basis was it had less weightage. Almost not more than 30 marks were coming in mains, not even more than 3 or 4 questions coming in prelims also. And I did not have the proper fundamentals also in electrical engineering. So, but in 2023, I did not take the chance, because in between, a friend of mine, she helped me with basic concepts of transformers, DC machines, etc. Those synchros and all I have left. So I will not suggest you to do that. This is because I'm just saying that when you don't have the time, when you face a time crunch, these kind of ideas will help you. And how did I come to this? Because I knew the weightage. And how do I know the weightage? Previous year questions. PYQs are a must. And I solved almost past 12 to 15 years of previous year questions, both of prelims and mains. Prelims almost I solved for more than 20 years. That is fine. So 12 to 15 years are at least essential, I would say, because almost from 2010 onwards, I solved the previous year questions. What happens with the previous year questions is that you'll get a flavor of the type of questions that are being asked in engineering services, especially in mains. Uh, the concept that the questions are being asked remains fixed, though only the way of questioning or or something, or the thing that they are that they are asking you to find out might be different, but the basic fundamental background behind the question remains the same. uh, that kind of analysis you can arrive at, like in network theory you can always expect one question from two port networks or steady state analysis. Similarly, control systems also you can expect a question on root locus or frequency domain analysis. This kind of concept gets cleared only when you are practicing previous year questions. And when I say practice, just don't just see the question and try to answer it. You should also analyze the kind of questions. These should be you should always feed these kind of questions in your mind. And I say the sufficient practice of previous year questions. Like I told, always introspect yourself. I mean, after the class or at the end of the day, or if not regularly, at some point of time, introspect yourself, like where you stand, and always keep in mind that what you have come for, or what is the goal that you are dreaming, and all they should always be in your mind. Like whenever I used to go back to sleep, all these things used to revolve in my head, like what is it that I wanted to do for the day, and what is it that I have done. Though 100% would not be matching, but I used to analyze all these kind of things. And whenever you have a chance, speak to yourself also. This also helps you in interview, or you can look yourself into mirror and speak. This I used to do after say on a day, on a particular day, I read some new concept. Of course, I also used to make notes out of it, and then i used to I used to explain it to myself in my own words. This also helps you understand or grasp the essence of that concept, basically not just rote learning. So also welcome constructive feedback from your friends or faculty, etc. This also helps you, but not the negativity. Don't take anything in negative aspect. And also when you are attempting the test series also one more important thing. The rank, the marks that you get and all is on one side, but more importantly what I suggest you to do after attempting your test series, mock test, do the error analysis. This was This I used to do from my JE times, in fact. Uh, Error analysis used to be done, like what were the questions you could not attempt, and what were the questions you made mistake on. Both are, you should consider both, and you should know what made you do that mistake. Is it the time crunch that you felt? Was it a silly mistake, or was it a conceptual mistake, or never did you never see that kind of concept only? Because there will be questions that will be asked completely new. Don't expect you can answer 100% of the examination. Don't go for 100%. This will only overburden yourself, and you need not even score 100%. You can see almost 50 to 55% marks out of 1300 is essential, is good enough for you to get selected in the engineering services. So uh, don't try to be picture perfect in the examination. It is not even being asked from UPSC. So do efficient error analysis. Like I told, when I say error analysis, it is not about the marks and all. It's not about the rank that you secured in the test series and all. After all, it is just a practice test that you are giving before the final battle. So, better what you do is, uh, or what I did was, I used to see the questions that I answered incorrectly, that I left out, and then also see, like I told, so see if I did that wrong. Was it a calculation mistake? Was it a silly mistake? Silly mistake could be like choosing a different option while you are bubbling in the OMR. These things happen. When these things do happen, you might be thinking it's option B, but when you try to bubble in the OMR, it goes in option A. You bubble a different question and all. These things happen. So those are silly mistakes. Was it a silly mistake, or was it a conceptual error, or was it a completely whole new concept altogether for you? That question was. If it is a whole new different concept, there would also be a solution for that, right? So I used to note that particular question at the end of that particular subject, the notes that I made, say some digital electronics or some communication systems notes that I have, and I used to maintain notes dedicatedly for that particular subject, which will be having blank pages and all. So wherever I face a new question through my test series, or when I am practicing my previous year questions, I used to note that particular question. After this notes, uh, after my theory and all examples and all, I used to add those questions, particular questions, in my notes. That particular question, the solution, again one more question, again I keep on adding, and that's how I built my source. And I expect you also to do the same, because that will help you. Because you cannot go back to your test series, find out, that would become tedious task. So whenever you are revising your notes, all these questions, again you are revising it. So that is that's the essence of test series. That is how I used my test series, rather than the marks and the rank. So you never know what happens during on the day of the examination. So, and for prelims, you also need to manage your time properly, whereas in mains, both time and space management is essential. So this is a question come answer booklet format. So you have some dedicated space for a particular question, and I will not say that it is less, but the space given is sufficient enough. But I will not say it is so good enough that you write the whole answer, strike it off, and again have to rewrite the whole answer. That is not possible. So you have to answer the question correctly in the first go. So that is a main point. And like I told, you have to choose 5 questions out of the 8. and you have 3 hours of time. And you might think it is not that big a task, but each question have their own subparts, subsections, and each subsection is from a different subject. So there it gets tricky. Like you might be knowing um, equation. Usually, each question carries 60 marks out of the 8, and you might be knowing a question where you are sure short, you're getting sure short 40 marks, but you're not confident in a question of 20 marks. So like I told, after getting your answer booklet, I want you to spend some time. At least I used to spend 5 minutes, see what are the questions being asked. Okay, so question 1 and 5 from section A and section B are mandatory, and no one can do anything about it. But remaining questions, what is the question that I should choose? This I used to introspect. Like, obviously, it's not a straightforward thing. Like, one question is not of 60 marks, so you have to choose. Like, which question are you going to attempt? And that's what made my difference, I feel, in 2022. And even after my 2023 examination, I felt really happy seeing the way that I attempted my questions. I thought that was my right set of questions. Even in 2022, I was not fully satisfied with my choice of questions. And like I told, do not leave out any of the subjects. um, don't mind me saying that basic electrical engineering I have left, but 2023 it really helped me. There was a question of one question in section A in mains paper 1. Uh, the first question I had to attempt, but then out of the 2, 3, and 4, I mean, I was really not left with much choice, since analog electronics is also not one of my favorites. So then basic real engineering helped me. So almost 30 or 40 marks of equation uh, had uh, had the weightage in equation of paper 1, and that was the question I chose, thankfully. So this will help you. I'll not tell you to leave out the whole subject as such, or your weak areas, weak subjects. Everyone has their own uh, weak areas, etc. But in that case, I do not suggest you to leave out the whole subject or the topic. I just ask you to brush up the fundamentals of the topic, so that whenever a easy question comes, no one should lose marks out of that questions. So that was my mantra. I mean, I would not leave out easier questions, even if they are not to my taste. And then in my paper on the day of examination, or in the examination hall, especially for the objective paper, this I have been doing from my JE. What I used to do was, I mean, my father told me this technique and it worked out for me. I'll tell you what it is. So it is not an online paper, it is offline. So you get the whole paper, and you get to see the whole questions from 1 to 100 or 150, all the questions at a time. And I would not follow that sequence which was given in the question booklet. I just used to go randomly from 1 to 150, or from the back or from the middle. That did not used to matter to me. I used to, whichever way I was comfortable in. So I just used to find out the easier questions, pick the easier questions at the first. Pick the easier questions and then answer it. Like, you need not spend much time. Say our technical paper, domain specific paper, there would be some straightforward questions. There would be some formula, just exactly the formula also being asked, or just a formal application or a theoretical question also. You need not put your pen on the paper to solve those kind of questions or answer those questions. And those questions I used to attempt so fast. Like, I used to attempt very quickly, and there would be inertia in the first 1 hour or so, both in general studies or my technical paper. So usually the pace is low in the first half an hour or 1 hour. And also what I used to do is, during my 3 hours of examination of domain specific, which means 150 questions out of 3 hours, which comes down to the same ratio, 50 questions per hour. So that is not possible, and we did not even attempt all the 150 questions unless you are completely sure. So 50 questions per hour. And here what I used to do is, after an hour I used to count how many questions I have already answered. This used to give me an idea like where I stand. 50 questions is what I should be answering in an hour. Have I answered 30? Have I answered 50? Definitely I would never reached 50 because of the inertia. Maybe say some 35 questions I have attempted, and these were the easier questions. So, and I say you to attempt these easier questions first, because it builds your confidence on the day of the paper, and we need complete concentration focus for those 2 or 3 hours on the exam. So these silly mistakes and all what I was talking about, or the calculation errors and all, these are just a deviation of your concentration, if I have to say. Like one question was, some resistor was given and all. After all the calculation, the power consumption, the power consumed by resistor, the formula I used was V square by 2R. I still feel embarrassed. Like, how could I go wrong in Ohm's law? So, and this made my error. This costed me my negative marks also. So, this definitely was a lack of concentration, I have to say. So these kind of calculation errors or silly mistakes and all are are an impact of your deviation of concentration on the exam day. And like I told, I used to face easier questions. How do you pick those easier questions? You might ask me. So definitely whatever question you read might not be easy. So there used to be some questions difficult that I used to pick up in my first hour also, and my confidence used to drop so sharply, and that will affect your whole examination. I'll tell you, really, that will affect your whole examination. So in spite of doing that, I used to just leave out that question. But what happened, I observed many times that those questions I left out. After attempting some 70-80 questions, whenever I came back to that particular question, I used to solve it. In fact, really, I used to solve those questions, and that used to further boost my confidence on the examination. So I think this complete concentration for the 2 or 3 hours is essential, because that's what decides your final result, end result. Coming to mains, unlike objective, here you need to write subjective answers. There will be a mix of theory as well as numericals. Me personally, I'm more fond of numericals, but definitely I cannot avoid theoretical questions, because uh, a sub part of a question could be a theoretical question from material science, or any other subject from advanced electronics, etc. So, especially coming to the syllabus, we have, I have to say, we have more subjects compared to GATE. There is a lot of deviation, especially advanced electronics or advanced communication. Uh, Not sure if everyone has read instrumentation, measurements and instrumentation also in the academics. So these are all new subjects for me, and these I used to make my own notes from different online resources or the notes that I got from previous year toppers, etc. But making your own notes is essential, I feel, and also know the right strategy that works for you. Like I told, you are the best person that knows about yourself. So all this strategy what I am telling you is mine, and you need not follow it picture perfect. You could take some points whichever you might find helpful from my session. You could make, if you already have a strategy of your own, that's well and good. I mean, you need to know the perfect strategy that works for you. I'll not tell you to follow my own strategy or someone else's strategy, or but only if you could find something helpful that might work for you. And how do you find the perfect strategy? It's just trial and error. You have to take a chance on a test series. Maybe whenever I'm giving you, advising you to attempt 50 questions per hour, maybe see if that works out for you. Or whenever I ask you to attempt the easier questions firsthand, see if that really helps you instead of going in a sequential manner. If it doesn't, yeah, you can use your own strategy or someone else's strategy. You can use a hybrid strategy. That's your own now. And then, okay, moving on to the personality test. Personality test is mostly unpredictable, you can say. So should be ready for the unexpected. So what happened was, like in 2021 or 2022, in my interview panels, mostly it was technical oriented. But when it came to 2023, it was completely altogether a different game. Uh, the chairperson and all asked me personal questions or these HR based questions like, uh, so since I've already been selected in 2022, let me tell you some questions that were asked in my recent interview also. So since I've already been selected in 2022, chairperson's immediate first question was like, uh, why are you reappearing? And you need to be prepared. And these are the questions, obvious questions that anyone could expect. So you should be prepared for those kind of questions. But sometimes it might become difficult for you to convince them. But you should be confident, is what I say, in whatever you are speaking. So why am I reappearing? Or I have opted for Indian Telecom Service this time. So since it was our core sector from electronics communications, um, and then the follow-up questions were like, why in ITS service? Or and then the chairperson asked me like, uh, why do I want to join a government service? Or what do you see the future as is being? Do you want every company being privatized, or do you want every company being under the control of government, etc.? These were the typical uh, questions apart from technical, and also a situation based question like, how would I deal a strike from the employees after becoming an ITS officer, etc. And few questions on my hobbies also. So I mentioned my hobbies as playing chess and cricket. So at that point of time, only recently, our ICC Cricket World Cup was going on. So the member asked me to name a few players of Indian cricket team, and also what major event is currently going on in cricket. Also a few players of Indian chess team, etc. So personality test, and also a few questions. A question of current issues was a mix of current issues as well as our technical domain. Like the question, let me tell you the question. The question was like, what are the two major happenings? Tell me two major happenings in the field of electronic industry in the current scenario. So 5G or VLSI semiconductor industry being set up, etc. So it varies. So you should be clear about your core domain application in the current the current scenarios. And then they asked me about my BTech projects, and it was a machine learning project. So they started asking me about machine learning and AI, and then also Chat GPT. So Chat GPT has become famous. So these kind of things, or cyber security. And then I've also done a minor project in embedded systems to aid farmers in their agriculture. So a question was asked on those projects also. And all of this apart, I'll tell you to also make sure you enjoy yourself apart from this all the study that you are doing the whole day. Also please enjoy yourself a little bit of time. I'll just tell you, like, I used to spend almost only roughly I would not want to uh, over exaggerate. I used to spend almost only 5 to 6 hours a day, even when I was preparing and new subjects also per day. This, I felt it was completely sufficient for me. And later on, after I started working in HAL or in this service, I could not get the time to even spend 5 to 6 hours. I reduced it to 2 to 3 hours a day. But since this was a revision point, I did not find it too difficult to revise. So even when I am preparing for completely new subjects, I used to spend only 5 to 6 hours a day, and the rest I was in my final year, so my placements and all were there. And what I used to do in these 5 6 years was I used to concentrate completely in those 5 hours. So that is sufficient enough, I feel. I'm not saying 5 6 hours is sufficient, but if you are paying your concentration completely in whatever you are reading or the notes you are making, uh, your mind should completely be on that. And that is good enough, I feel. So the remaining time you have so much time in a day to enjoy yourself. So don't hold back in enjoying. And people say they used to be away from social media and all, but I never did that, and worked well for me. So it's up to you. I mean, like I told, it depends on every individual. So if you, I could control what I wanted and what I did not want to do. But if that is not possible with you, maybe you must be staying away from social media. But social media is also a means of communication and a means of knowing news, the current happenings also in this age of the world. So I mean, I would not suggest you to uh, stay away from social media and all as such. But like I told, I used to spend my whole focus in those 5 or 6 hours I'm spending in a day. The rest you can just enjoy, hang out with friends, watch movies, whichever you like. Maybe you might be having your own hobbies, pursue those hobbies. No one would. Uh, and then finally, I want you to just stay healthy physically, mentally, emotionally as well. There, I would say no one in this world is perfect and is content with what they are having. So everyone has their own set of problems. So, but like I told, keep that goal of yours in mind, always in the back of your mind. Keep it running. You should introspect. By introspection, you will get to know that what is it that you really want to achieve and what is it that you are doing. Are you deviating from your goal or are you not? Are you in the right track, etc.? So, like I told, just to be healthy, because my grandfather always used to say the first important thing is health, and only then education, and only then money. So health is most important thing. So don't these things seem small, like having your meals on time, or spending time with your friends, doing exercise or yoga, pursuing your hobbies. Someone might want to listen to music, someone could want to watch a movie, someone would want to play cricket or some other sport. You're free to do so, and that will refresh your mind, like I told. So do not neglect your health, and uh, yeah, definitely sleep. And uh, yeah, people, I have heard people saying 6 hours is sufficient, but I never used to sleep less than 7 hours. So yeah, even 8 hours at times. So and like you see, here I am standing. So yeah, tomorrow it could be someone from you. It's no wonder. So sleep is also definitely important. And like it will, all these things seem very small. Take your meals on time. Uh, do yoga or exercise, whatever you feel comfortable learning early in the morning. And differs from person to person. Some people are active early in the morning, some in the evening times, some late at night. So everyone is free to do prepare whenever they want. But like I told, just concentrate those whatever time that you're spending, that will be sufficient enough, good enough. And yeah, guess that is it from my monologue. Now I just want you to interact, because that would be great. I did not want to waste the number of students into the number of minutes that I took to go a waste. So please feel free to ask any particular questions that you have, personal questions regarding strategy, regarding any other thing that you want. Okay, like I told, I did not have sufficient time. I was at the start, I was in my final year, so I had to manage my academics and all. Later on, I started working in HAL, then joining here, so I did not have the right amount of time. So only then I used to go to I resorted to these kind of measures. Like I used to focus on the topics that I am more comfortable in and all. But when you have the time, why not complete the whole syllabus? Only when you have the time crunch and all, I will suggest you to do these kind of thing. But when you have a lot of time at hand, it is not advisable to do these kind of things as such. Yes.
Sir, how was your gate experience that you have given twice? So how you prepared actually different for it for rather than ESE? Because ESE more of theoretical and gate is more of double side.
Yes, the questions in GATE are more on a tougher side. Uh, but yeah, we need to understand the difference between GATE and ESE. So the ESE, the syllabus is vast, one thing, and you need a lot of patience. I forgot to tell you that you need a lot of patience. The whole process is of almost 1.5 years from the date of filling your applications. So this three-stage exam will drain your energy completely. There will be setbacks. uh, there will be days when you feel low, when you feel demotivated, but you need internal motivation. No external motivation speaker like me or someone can influence you, is what I feel. So that burning desire should be in yourself, and only then that can improve yourself from day to day. I used to have that ignition inside me, like I told, I took it as a matter of pride. Like, how could I not clear this Indian services exam when I never, until then, I had no black mark in my career. I cleared my JEE in my first attempt. I got into a good college, etc., with good scores, etc. But in GATE 2021 also, I secured a good enough rank in my very first attempt. That was I was content with that. But engineering services, Then I understood like you need a lot of patience for engineering services that most people lack. So, and then coming to the questions are more on a tougher side for gate. True. But even in mains, when it comes to mains of engineering services, there are no less I should say. You'll find questions which you have never seen. Like even in 2023, like I found it difficult to choose one question even after giving a lot of choice. So it becomes difficult to choose those questions also. And gate requires more conceptual depth of knowledge, and mostly they are numerical based, and I was more comfortable with the numericals. So, and I'll tell you not to prepare as a two different examinations. Your preparation strategy must be universal. Your preparation strategy must be universal, which means like what are you studying currently and all. The strategy must be universal, whatever concept that you're preparing. Only thing that changes is the exam, which means the pattern, the syllabus may be a little different, the time of examination and all. Like uh, so gate has 65 questions, if I remember, for 3 hours. So uh, I find I find people very rarely telling that they face time crunch in gate examination when you just have to attempt 65 questions in 3 hours. Whereas when you see it here, it is 150 questions in those 3 hours. And of course, the level of difficulty is less in the prelims paper of engineering services. So here you need a lot of time management. One more important thing is speed versus accuracy. If you can, I'll tell you, if you can master this, uh, if you can master the speed versus accuracy thing, I'll tell you, you can clear any examination. So this is what differs. So you need to be accurate, and also you need to be quick enough here, especially in engineering services objective paper. Here it needs more accuracy. Of course the speed also matters, but you have good enough time to spend on a particular question, so you don't usually face that time crunch. So these small things like speed and accuracy, there people say there could be a trade-off, but you should be able to balance. This is what I'm trying to say. The speed, you should also be quick enough. So for that, like I told, I used to analyze how many questions I have completed for that particular hour, etc. So which will give me just a glimpse um, of where I stand. And also accuracy, accuracy is also important equally. So the preparation strategy must be universal, but these little things only differ, which means the pattern. This is only one stage examination gate, 65 questions, 3 hours. What is the syllabus? Uh, so when you already prepared for engineering services, definitely the same syllabus. So gate syllabus is a subset of engineering services. So the syllabus is already covered. And then the previous year questions, important, equally important, both for gate, engineering services, any examination as such, any other competitive examination. So when your preparation strategy or the concepts are clear, you can attempt any competitive examination. So I'll tell you, don't just restrict yourself to engineering services or to gate. uh, so be flexible enough, grab each and every opportunity that is at your hand. I hope the session was fruitful. You could take away some pointers that I wanted to mention and stress. and keep yourself motivated, stay healthy, stay safe.